All right. All right, everybody. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Where's Dana? Well, I am flying solo tonight for our live show. We still have a fun show planned this evening. We are going to be diving into the latest episode of The Bad Batch, as well as doing a spoiler breakdown of Cavan Scott's The Rising Storm, in which I may end up crying towards the end of this because that book emotionally wrecked me. That's all I'm gonna say. Uh, we are we're live as I said. Let's get into it. I was actually I'm wearing this button-down Star Wars shirt. I was at a wedding on a boat today, so that was a lot of fun. But I'm here. We're back. We're having a good time. So actually, let's get into some of the news headlines here. Let's switch this over. And that did not work. All right. Um, let's see here. There we go. All right. So we are going to our handy dandy. I want to talk about this. This is the first class league, the movie trivia schmodown, Star Wars belt that was unveiled during first class league number 16. So that's pretty cool. Kind of wish Dana was here, just be, be honest, but it's all good. So that is the new belt, which is pretty neat. And so let's move on here. there's my there's our Twitter page. Let's I guess we'll just get into the fun here, and we will talk about Kevin Scott's The Rising Storm, and I'll talk about that for a little bit with with a spoiler breakdown. Actually, just give me 1 minute here, and I am actually going to go get my notebook. I will be right back. It's in my backpack, in the back pocket, main compartment. Thank you. That way we have it. Thank you. All right. Okay, so I also want to talk about EA Star Wars actually sent out a tweet this week talking about how they are not going to be unveiling any news during their EA Play Live event, which is happening this week. So there's that. I have a feeling that they're going to be saving some of that for Destination D23 this year, as well as Star Wars Celebration next year in May. Destination D23 is a Disney fan club event that they are holding in Disney World in Orlando, Florida. So maybe we'll get some news there. We do have a new figure actually that was announced from Hasbro. Let me see here. And this, I believe, is the Trapper Wolf figure? I believe. Let me see here. Yes, here it is. Here's Trapper Wolf. Dave Filoni's X-Wing pilot from The Mandalorian is getting a Black Series figure, and check out that beautiful box. That is absolutely gorgeous. Can't wait to actually see this. This is going to be a Hasbro PulseCon 2021 exclusive figure that you can't pre-order yet. He's going to be $30 when he does come out. And as you can see here, all the detail and articulation just looks absolutely incredible. So you are finally getting Dave Filoni as an action figure. And who wouldn't want Dave Filoni as an action figure? Dressed as an X-Wing pilot. So we are getting Trapper Wolf. I wish that we were... Oh, you guys didn't even see that. There it is. We're going to click on this one more time here. I had it in the just chatting. So here he is. There's that box. Once again. Comes with his blaster rifle and his helmet. And like I said, it's just really cool. I want to see his co-pilot buddy does not have a figure coming out, which is uh which is rough, but you can see here we have Cassian Andor coming, we have K2SO, Chirrut Imwe, Baze Malbus, Jyn Erso, and Bodhi Rook. We also have Darth Revan coming out. Coscar Reeves is coming as well. Still want to get the Wedge Antilles X-Wing helmet. Yes, Kitty, I see you. Hey, Wayfinder Podcast, how are you doing? I'm actually flying solo tonight, guys, so here we are. Oh, and you can the Marvel Galactus project. Holy crap. The Galactus figure that Marvel is putting out, the Marvel Legends figure, it is $400 to back the project. It looks incredible. I mean, the figure looks absolutely incredible, but I cannot see putting $400 on that figure. So let's go back here. Hey Zach, how's it going? Yeah, no, I'm good. I was just saying just a little bit ago that and Zach knows uh, I was at a wedding today, hence the Star Wars button down. And yeah, so there's that. Let's see here. Let's get into the Rising Storm now with our spoiler review. Zach, you might want to put your ears on for this, or just keep watching and not pay attention to this. But this is going to be a spoiler review for the second book in the High Republic saga. Uh, Wayfinder, you've read the Rising Storm, right? I just want to know before I get into this. Rising Storm. Yes. Um, it's such a. I'm gonna say this before we get into the spoilers. It is such a damn good book. It's okay. You read it, cool. Zach, I'm sorry, we're gonna get into some spoilers, bud. So if you want to listen, cool. I don't care. Go for it. Okay, screw it. So the Rising Storm, done by Kevin Scott. Kevin Scott, whether it's Star Wars or Doctor Who, the guy always finds a way to not only entertain me, but he makes me feel emotional every single time. whether it be The Rising Storm, Dooku Jedi Lost, which was an amazing audio drama that I just I will recommend for anybody that's trying to get into new canon for Star Wars. Jedi Lost is absolutely incredible and ties into Master and Apprentice so well. So I would definitely suggest, if you're looking to get into more of Kevin Scott's work, read or listen to Dooku Jedi Lost. You can also read a book about it, um, which is just the script for it, but I think it's better off the way it is. So I would I would just, check it out. Yes, there are a lot of High Republic references in Dooku Jedi Lost. Absolutely. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful story. So there's that. Kevin Scott's done some Big Finish audio, Doctor Who audio dramas, which are fantastic. If you've never listened to a Big Finish audio drama, what are you waiting for? They're absolutely fantastic. They have actually. I'm just gonna plug them real quick here. They have done so much, especially for the Eighth Doctor, um, by just continuing his story outside of that Doctor Who movie. And so, they've done more with the War Doctor as well, which there's some of John Hurt's finest performances. So let's get into The Rising Storm now. So, The Rising Storm, I'm going to do a spoiler breakdown. When I said last week that some stuff goes down at this Republic Fair, some stuff goes down, and we're going to get to that in just a second. I just want to set things up, and then we're just going to just dive right in. Now, this book opens with Elzar Mann, and he is contemplating with the vision that he receives at the end of Light of the Jedi, and it talks about his time at Starlight Beacon Station and how he's kind of distracted with the vision to really enjoy the opening ceremonies for the station. And him and Avar Chris, they end up drinking together, and they end up having a dance, and Elzar Man actually wants to take things further. But Avar Chris stops him and says, "We're not Padawans anymore." So apparently, Kevin Scott makes you think Elzar Man and Avar Chris might have hooked up a couple of times as Padawans. Do we know? I guess it's all just for interpretation. It's all up in the air. But be that as it may, I think it happened. So we deal with that, and then, hey, farm boy, how's it going, buddy? So we deal with that, and then we just jump right in with Martian Rowe and how he is going back to his home planet to find something called the Great Leveler. And he's actually utilizing a pilot that is force sensitive. So, like, they're navigating this asteroid field and everything, and the pilot's just zooming around and just able to navigate this asteroid field. Well, when they get there, they have to trek to this ancient temple, and they ride this beast that is similar to a yeah, it's badass. Um, Similar to a bantha meets a blurg. I think that's what Kevin Scott describes it. I love blurgs, and I love banthas, but I don't know if I'd want to ride a bantha mixed with a blurg. So there's that. They get to this temple, and Martian Rowe ends up finding the Great Leveler. But in doing so, he has to prove himself worthy of the Leveler. And we find out later on in the book that the Leveler is this ancient beast that once Martian Rowe gets this artifact, he can actually control the direction of where the Leveler goes, who the Leveler attacks, all of that stuff. So he ends up betraying both his guide and the pilot that brought him there. He ends up stabbing them both, which I thought was pretty interesting and pretty badass. This is a person that will just do whatever it takes to complete his mission. That's Martian Rose. Okay, how's that? That's Martian Rose motivation when it comes to stuff like this. So from there, we cut over to the planet Valo, where Elzar Man is trying to help set up the Republic Fair with a uh, representative of the Republic named Samaria. And there may or may not be a fling forming with that, which I think is actually a really interesting plot to this because one of the things that we are constantly hit over the head with in the prequel trilogy, and that, excuse me, that the Jedi Order frowns upon. They frown upon attachments. They frown upon, love and all that other stuff. But to quote Anakin Skywalker, you would think that Jedi are encouraged to love, which is actually a pretty important thing when it comes to the Jedi Order themselves, because they save people out of love and compassion. So he does have that point, but how else do you make force sensitive children? They got to hook up somehow. And I'm just saying. I know sometimes it's all genetics, and even if parents aren't force sensitive, their kids might be force sensitive, whatever. But to me, I'm just thinking, hey, this is how we get a new generation of Jedi. And if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. Please tell me in the chat, email the show, tweet at us, all that stuff. Apparently, my wife says that she doesn't think that's how this works. Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. Sky High taught us that superpower might equal a normal baby. Also, so we don't know. I mean, the Force works in mysterious ways. Whoa, yeah, yeah, buddy, yeah, Zach. Whoa, indeed, indeed, sir. So while that's going on, you have Lena So with Stellan Gios, and some of Lena So's entourage is en route to the planet Valo, where the Republic Fair is going on a ship called the Coruscant Dawn. It's Lena So's personal ship. What do you got, Wayfinder Podcast? Speak to what Eric thinks. So you have Lena So's personal ship en route to Valo, and from there, Stellan Gios is trying to not only kind of quell people's anxiety towards the Nile, uh, but he's also trying to coordinate Avar Chris's stuff when it comes to her uneasy alliance with the Hutts to take out the Drengir. And if you're unfamiliar with the Drengir, this is going to be great when I explain this. So, Zach, get ready. These are plants, living, breathing, sentient plants that eat people. Yeah, think Little Shop of Horrors, but steeped in the dark side. Just makes it so much fun. So much fun. Yeah, feed me, Jedi. Feed me. They don't say that. They call Jedi meat all the time. Meat. Uh, so all of that's going on. And while this is going on, the Nile are kind of so went from an odd character who I thought was a villain in disguise to someone lovely. Uh, yes, actually, you are correct with that Wayfinder podcast. So, Lena So has definitely become one of my favorite characters, especially with her two giant cats that protect her. I love those guys. And I'm going to tell you, we see a lot of them in this book. This meat talks too much. That was from yeah, that was from Claudia Gray's novel Into the Dark, where the Drengir are kind of like first introduced when it comes to like overall books. They're introduced in High Republic number 2 or 3. No, they're introduced in High Republic number 3. Uh, Also from Cavan Scott. So you get double the Cavan Scott here, triple even, because we're going to be getting Tempest Runner in September, I believe, which is going to be pretty huge too. That's going to be another audio drama. So you have Avar Chris dealing with the Drengir crisis. So Avar really isn't in this book, which I think it's interesting when it comes to these characters. Star Wars has always given us a trinity of characters when it comes to like main characters in these stories. In the prequel trilogy, it was Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Padme. In the original trilogy, it's Luke, Han, and Leia. In the sequel trilogy, it's Finn, Rey, and Poe. In Solo, it's Han, Kira, and Chewie, or I would say Han, Lando, and Chewie, because you can look at it either way. So in the High Republic, we've gotten trios of characters as well, where in this book we're focusing on the Jedi. We have Elzar Mann, Stellan Gios, and Ty Yorick as like some of the bigger characters. We also have Bel Zettifar, Loden Greatstorm, and Indira Stokes when it comes to others as well. Or I would say Bel Zettifar, Indira Stokes, and Ember the Charhound or Hound. Apparently, I can't speak today either. So with all of this going on, the Republic keeps talking about how they are going to make sure that the Nile aren't a threat and that nothing will happen on Valo when it comes to the Republic Fair. They eat those words really fast in this book. So the opening ceremonies actually go off without a hitch. The first night of the fair is a huge success. People are partying. Elzar Man and Samaria start drinking, and one thing leads to another. And let's just say Samaria spent a Jedi night. Ha ha! Puns. So I'm sorry. That was terrible. Forgive me. I kind of need Dana here to keep me in check when it comes to these puns. But with that, the next day, though, all hell breaks loose. Now, this one member of the Nile, he attacked the Cyclor shipyards because he wanted to take out the Innovator, which is going to be the Republic's brand new science vessel. Thank you, Zach. Thank you for the LOL. I appreciate it, buddy. So they're going to take out the Innovator, which is the Republic's brand new science vessel. And when it comes to, but they end up failing because the Cyclorians end up kind of taking a stand, and Bel-Zettifar and Indira Stokes in their Jedi vectors end up stopping that attack. Well, this same Tempest in the Nile, he's like one of the top lieutenants in the Nile, decides, all right, I'm going to piss Marchion Ro off even more because he actually wants this guy named Pan Etta wants to take over the Nile. So he decides, all right, I'm going to go to Valo and all hell's going to break loose. I'm just going to devastate the place. And he does. He attacks everything. A bunch of these Nile craft show up with these smaller fighters. They sink the Innovator. Apparently, they sink the Innovator, and a lot of people die on that ship. Bel-Zettifar actually shines in this moment. Keep in mind, Bel-Zettifar is now with his new master, Indira Stokes, after Loden Greatstorm's quote-unquote death, where he was actually captured by Marchion Ro and tortured for over a year. Yes, this book actually takes place a year after the events of Light of the Jedi. So I think the High Republic comic is actually like covering this gap, as well as uh, Into the Dark kind of covered this gap, and A Test of Courage actually happens right around the same time as Light of the Jedi. So, but here we are. So all hell's breaking loose. Jedi are scattered. People are scattered, and this is where you really get to see the Jedi kind of shine when it comes to protecting people. They protect some people, but they also fail in protecting everybody. And in doing so, a lot of people lose their lives. And this is kind of a humbling experience for Stellan Gios, Elzar Mann, Ty Yorick, Indira Stokes, and Bel-Zettifar, and all of the other Jedi that have shown up. So let's move forward. We find out that they end up tracking Lorna D, who is another Tempest runner in the Nile. They cross-reference her with all of these facial recognition databases and stuff, and they end up like following the hyperspace signatures to another planet, and this is where they assault a Nile base. And we're getting towards the end of the book here, and this is where some of the stuff goes down. And when I say some of the stuff goes down, I mean some of the stuff really goes down at the end of this book, where I'm just going to say it now. We get the Great Leveler. Great Leveler is unleashed on Loden Greatstorm after Loden Greatstorm escapes Marchion Ro's flagship and ends up being reunited with Bel-Zettifar, and they're fighting. And then Marchion Ro sends the Great Leveler after Loden Greatstorm, and the Great Leveler ends up consuming Loden Greatstorm, and his body just crumbles in the ashes. His body's just like turned to ash. And I was thinking, did Cavan Scott just give us a Thanos moment? And sure enough, he did. And it was the end of this book is so exciting, and so action packed, and you feel hopeful because you see the Jedi just defeating the Nile at like every turn on the Nile's home turf. And then this happens and Marchion Ro escapes, and Stellan Gios and Bel Zettifar and the rest of these Jedi are left to pick up the pieces and to figure out what's going on. And Kevin Scott, if you're watching this, I know that you know, I'm kind of all over the place when talking about this book, but this book is absolutely incredible. It's one of the best Star Wars books I've read in my entire time reading Star Wars books. Now, Farm Boy, I know that you couldn't really get into the High Republic, and that's cool. I know there's a lot of people that couldn't get into the High Republic, and that's still pretty cool. But I just have to say that this has become my favorite era of storytelling when it comes to just everything Star Wars and Star Wars storytelling. Next week, I am actually going to be doing a spoiler breakdown of Race to Crash Point Tower. Thoughts on Marchion Ro? Okay. Marchion Ro is so when I first started this podcast and I gave that breakdown of Light of the Jedi, I actually did not like Marchion Ro at first. But having read High Republic Adventures and having read all of the subsequent material as well when it comes to the High Republic, Marchion Ro has really grown on me as a villain. I think he. What's that? I think he really has become just this epic, smart villain. He rivals. I'm not going to put him on the level as Palpatine, but I'll put him up with say Thrawn and Tarkin, uh, and even Krennic. Those guys, where they're super smart. They think these situations out, and they always have backup plans. Now, granted, Palpatine has always had a backup plan, and that's why we saw the cloning facility on Exegol in The Rise of Skywalker. Having said all of that, if the High Republic has an interest you, that's fine. I mean, it's not for everybody. You know, it's not for everybody, but I would suggest giving it a try. It's really interesting storytelling, and you don't really need to have watched any movies to really know what's going on. It's actually really nice jumping on point for new fans or people that are curious about Star Wars. So I would just suggest that if you're on the fence about it, give Light of the Jedi a try because it's on Audible. You get it for if you're a brand new Audible member or if you're just an Audible member in general, you can use a credit on it. And if you don't like it, you can return it and get another credit and get that credit back. So there's that. You can go to your library and check it out. There's all sorts of ways of checking out the High Republic, and I would just suggest, just diving in and just seeing if it's for you. However, I will also say this about this era. I would love an animated series. I would absolutely love an animated series set in this era or a live action series just to really, I mean, the story's already cemented with all of these books and comics that we're getting, but I would just love it if, some people that didn't want to read, okay, you can watch this series or, what have you. Another thing, While we're getting High Republic t-shirts, which is really cool. I'm loving seeing the High Republic merch. I want Black Series figures. I want High Republic Black Series figures, and I want High Republic Legos. Like, I want High Republic toys. You have every opportunity to give us what we want. We want these figures. You can even make the lightsaber hilts for Galaxy's Edge. You can make legacy lightsaber hilts and sell them at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and do that. You can make a Stellan Geos crossguard saber, or a Buryaga wooden saber. Star Wars audiobooks are like listening to a film without the picture. Yeah, they're really really good, and um Mark Thompson is hit or miss with me when it comes to um some of his Star Wars audio narration. I really think he's entertaining. Most of the books that I've listened to that he's done the reading for have been really enjoyable and really good. But there have been a couple where I haven't enjoyed the book. Like the Aftermath trilogy, I Mark Thompson was actually the only thing to get me through the Aftermath trilogy, to be honest. I just think that yeah, I mean the sound, the effects, all of it, they're great. I think that just the writing in the Aftermath trilogy just is not that good. Even though that gave me Cobb Vanth, and I love Cobb Vanth. I just I just did not like the story to Aftermath. So there's that. Now, when it comes to the Thrawn novels, I'd rather read the Thrawn novels than to listen to the audiobooks because and this is where I kind of get a little annoyed with Mark Thompson because his Admiral Thrawn sounds an awful lot like Jack Sparrow. And this has nothing to do with Thompson personally. It just when he does the voice for Thrawn, I'm just thinking of Jack Sparrow painted blue wearing an Imperial uniform. And if I'm overstepping my bounds, I apologize, but that's just how I feel. So, moving on, definitely check out the High Republic. Well, check out the Rising Storm. Next week, I'm going to be doing a spoiler breakdown of Race to Crash Point Tower, which is Daniel Jose Alder's middle grade novel that deals with Padawan Ram Joraram and his trusty Gonk unit V1B. So that one's going to be a lot of fun to read. It's just been a fun read so far. So I just suggest check out Race to Crash Point Tower also. So let's move on here to our main event. We're going to be talking about episode 12 of The Bad Batch. And this episode is called Rescue on Ryloth. And before we dive into the spoilers, this is your spoiler warning. So if you've not seen this episode yet, please drop what you're doing and watch the episode. You can always come back and watch this on demand on YouTube. So let's get into it here. Overall, really enjoyed this episode. I have actually enjoyed the last 3 episodes of this show because we're finally getting into that A team pitch that uh, we're finally getting into that A team feeling that we were told this show was going to practically be the A team in space. We're finally getting it. Now, if you weren't with us last week and you missed episode 11, Hera's parents are captured by the Imperials after they are framed for taking out or attempting to assassinate the senator from Ryloth. and for also smuggling. Okay, and also smuggling weapons to the citizens of Ryloth so that they can start a rebellion. They are automatically uneasy with the Empire, and you're dealing with Cham Syndulla and his wife trying to navigate not only dealing with the Empire, but trying to do what's best for their citizens. And that happened in episode 11. So with episode 12, we have Cham Syndulla, his wife, and his brother all captured by the Imperials while Hera is on the run. And Hera is trying to figure out a way to get her parents out of jail. And she and Chopper end up tapping into a frequency that Omega gave her. Oh, okay, yes, Orn on Frita. Yes, I'm sorry. It slipped my mind. What his name is. I just remember him being super annoying in the Clone Wars show and also annoying in this one. So Omega gave Hera a frequency for her to use in case of emergencies. Now, okay, I will say this. Dana and I have been very hard on Omega lately. But these past two episodes, they've used her in the right way. We're kind of not. Is he though, Farm Boy? Is he? Is he still alive? Because I'm sorry, if you get shot in the head, thank you, I appreciate. Um, I'm just saying, is he though? Because I still don't think he's alive. I think he's dead. But that's viewer interpretation. We never saw him afterwards, so we don't know. So Dana and I have been hard on Omega, but they've been utilizing her in the right way. And I liked her in this one because she goes off on this she goes off to do this thing important to the mission to where the Bad Batch ends up they attempt to break out the Syndullas from prison. And so Hera, Chopper, and Omega try to infiltrate this Imperial refinery. The plan is that the Batch is going to attack the refinery while Hunter and Echo break into the capital to break out. Actually, Zach, it's a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, buddy. It's not the future, buddy. Rampart said as much. Give a second watch and listen. No, I heard it. I heard it the first time when I watched it. When Rampart says Frita is recovering, but it doesn't. I'm sorry though. I don't think he is. I really don't think he is. And you know what? We're gonna debate this. We're actually gonna debate this when we get to the finale. Because if we don't see this guy for the rest of this season, I'm going to assume he's dead. That's just me. I'm going to assume that he's dead, but you never know. You never know. It's similar to the Game of Thrones thing. Unless you saw somebody die, they weren't really dead. Well, yeah, I mean, we did see Jon Snow come back, but this isn't the Game of Thrones cast. This is Starlight Beacon Transmissions. But I'm still going by that philosophy. So, so let's see here. Yes, Hera and Omega are going to shut down the automatic cannons at the refinery, so that way. Um, so what's that supposed to mean, Farm Boy? Oh, Eric. Okay. What's that supposed to mean? So, so they're there to shut down the automatic cannons, and they decide, well, we're going to send Chopper in to do it. Well, apparently Chopper can't do it. So Hera and Omega decide we're going to steal a Imperial shuttle and take out the generator that runs the cannons. And they end up doing that. And then Wrecker and Tech and the Havoc Marauder end up flying in and just start destroying the cannons. That way they can't get online. And that way they don't bother any ships or anything. While that's happening, we have Captain Baja Blast, or Mountain Dew Baja Blast is what I like to call him, or others call him Captain Houtzer, as he's so hout. Yeah, you know what? You know what? I'm straight, but that guy makes me question things. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. No, I love Captain Hauser because he really gets this interesting story arc in these two episodes. And I really hope that we get to see him as we move forward in this show. He's one of these. He's one of these clones because if you look at some of the clones, after the Empire takes over and after Order 66 and the Empire takes over, they are just, pardon my language, the clones are just assholes to people. But Hauser and his unit are really still trying to go by the philosophy of the Republic with trying to help people, which is a huge thing because that's what the clones were there for. The clones were there to fight for people, and Hauser still remembers that. Now, I wish, well, Crosshair's in this episode too, and Crosshair thinks that Hunter and Echo are going to go through this door and make it out, and Hauser ends up stopping Hunter and Echo and the Syndulas and tells them, hey, you can go out this other way using this other private shuttle. And Hauser ends up distracting these clones. And I was thinking Crosshair was going to take the shot and kill Hauser. Um, and I think it would have hit differently. I think if they had killed him. Uh, I just feel like if they had killed Hauser, you'd have a lot of upset people. Um, and I also think Crosshair not pulling the trigger on Hauser is Crosshair also starting to kind of rebel against his programming because he doesn't pull the trigger on Hauser. He tries to shoot down the Batch's ship, but he misses a few times. And so, it's just like one thing leads to another, and Crosshair has just kind of been there to be like the cat chasing the mice now. I think that we're going to get a confrontation with Crosshair here soon. You have to for the finale for the show. You have to have Hunter v Crosshair, Dawn of Justice style, because then they can talk. Then Hunter can say you have to save Django, and Crosshair can say, well, why'd you say that name? And then some Lois Lane character can come in and say, well, that's his father's name. I'm joking here, people. I'm joking. We're not going to get a Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice fight here with Martha. Um, yeah, that joke didn't land, did it? No. I feel like I'm grasping for straws. Am I? Sorry. I'm just having a good time. It's been a long day. So the Batch ends up rescuing Hera and Cham Syndulla and Cham's brothers and Cham's wife, aka Hera's mother. And the Syndullas go off and the batch goes off. And we see that Rampart now has a uh, piqued interest in not only the Syndulas but now the batch. Rampart kind of was giving the batch kind of like a leash. So does that mean that Crosshair has a conscience? So Dana and I have talked about this a couple of times in these shows, and I think he's starting to form a conscience now. When we get Crosshair in that third episode where him and the squad have to prove themselves as Imperial loyalists with taking out Saw Gerrera's people, Crosshair doesn't hesitate. He pulls the trigger on the dude and then tells the other guys just kill them all. And people get burned to death and shot and all of that. I think we're starting to see Crosshair come to grips. Crosshair missed 4 times. Also, watch the faces Crosshair makes. Something other than Hunter and the Bad Batch is on his mind. That's true too. Um, and you're right. I actually was counting the shots. He did fire off 4 shots at the shuttle as it was leaving, and he missed. Now he tries. I remember a couple episodes beforehand when they're escaping Baraka. He tries to shoot them down there, but he ends up not doing that either. So is Crosshair missing on purpose, or is he just becoming defective again? That's the big question here. Because if he's missing on purpose because the programming is now starting to wear off, there's a better chance that we'll get Crosshair back with the team at the end of this thing. If he's just becoming defective and just missing because he's his cloning is starting to run its cycle or his abilities are starting to fade, that's another question. What do you guys think? Let's actually open up the floor here. What do you guys think? Exactly, we shall see. Yeah. Well, yeah, Zach, he is a super soldier essentially. I mean, with his sharpshooting and everything. And it's just weird to see him missing as much as he is. What's up? Yeah. Yeah. It's so weird because now when it comes to taking out uh on Frita, he does it without question. And he doesn't now, okay. Okay, you know what, Farm Boy? Now you're giving me the benefit of the doubt here because you're quoting what Rampart is saying with on Frita will recover. Did Crosshair miss his brain? I don't speculate, so we will see what folks says. Okay, I mean that's fair too. I'm just trying to see the big picture here, and that's the problem with the show is it's not painting the big picture. We're still not setting up an end game here. I think, well, maybe we are, and I just thought about it. The end game is probably going to be the confrontation between Crosshair and Hunter. That's going to be the season 1 endgame. If we get a season 2, Farm Boy says hi because he can hear you in the background. Hi, he's one of my chat members. Maybe he's going through the same process as Wrecker, but because he's not with the group, we don't see from his point. Well, that's the thing. I think what you should be doing is this show should be told 50-50. It should be half of it should be from Crosshair's point of view, and half of it should be from the rest of the team's point of view. Because we need to see what Crosshair's going through. That's one of the big issues here when it comes to this show. I I need to see what Crosshair's going through. Um, just because, or what he's thinking. Because I think if you want the audience to sympathize with him, and that's where they're trying to go with it, then we need to see more of him. We're starting to, but we should have been seeing more of him since the beginning. Yeah. Yeah, now Rampart did. Yeah. Now Rampart did give Crosshair the go ahead, quote unquote go ahead to hunt the batch. Now, here's the question. So, is Crosshair going to do this with his team or on his own, or is he going to hire a team of bounty hunters? My wife says no. I'm opening it up to the chat and we'll see what's going on. Bounty hunters are only for Omega. That's true too. Cross. Okay. I can see that too, but I have to ask this question. Think he's going to go solo. My wife says solo. So, well, yeah, that's true. That's true. Snape did, Snape was undercover. So this could be a Snape situation. Oh God, does that mean that Hunter's gonna get killed? I hope not. Yeah, that's true. Only the storytellers know that's true. Like I said, I just had to ask these questions because, we speculate. That's part of our job. We speculate. So I don't know. It's just some of the thoughts that are going on in my head. So that's it for the Bad Batch. Before we go, just want to just open things up and just talk a little bit here. And if you missed earlier, I'll go over some earlier stuff real quick, uh, just so that you guys can see this again. This week it was revealed from Hasbro Pulse. We are getting a Hasbro PulseCon. We're getting Hasbro PulseCon in the fall, which is really cool. Hasbro PulseCon is when Hasbro starts to really unveil what's in the pipeline and what is coming pretty much immediately, but also near in the future. So let's go to this. So this is, uh, I'm calling this the Dave Filoni action figure. This is Trapper Wolf from The Mandalorian. Yes, he is getting a figure. Like I said, just look at this box. This box is absolutely beautiful. I wish it also came with his astromech droid. I think that that would be pretty cool. So we do have that. And then We also have this little bitty right here that I'm going to show you. This is from the movie Trivia Schmodown, First Class League Chairman Brad Gilmore. Ready for episode 13, and we'll talk after. Yes. So this right here is the First Class League uh, Star Wars Championship belt. I'm actually going to be sending in my promo for the First Class League to see if I can join and compete in the Star Wars division. So that right there is the lovely championship belt. Right here, as you can see, you've got the Rebel Alliance symbol and the Imperial symbol. And that's all about Star Wars movie trivia. So, yeah, there is that. You can also pre-order Black Series Han Solo in vintage Power of the Force card back with the Lucasfilm 50th anniversary logo. Just look at this. This is absolutely gorgeous. I love this figure so much. And if there's anything I need, it's more Han Solo figures in my life. Trapper Wolf, yes, Trapper Wolf is absolutely incredible. Yes, I need the Han Solo in my life. And they are also releasing the Luke Skywalker on vintage cardback, Power of the Force cardback as well. This is Black Series, so this is going to be the 6-inch, fully articulated. Comes with the lightsaber. As you can see, cloth tunic too. They're actually going with a cloth, which I think is brilliant from Hasbro. I mean, and just look at this. The Power of the Force line was just so cool when we had that. Let's see here. They're also releasing Black Series Greedo on vintage as well. Yes, yes, I'm so excited about this. Just Hasbro has just been killing it lately with these figures. Loved the Mandalorian line. Once again, we have our Rogue One line here for the 5th anniversary of that movie. So you've got your Baze Malbus in the box here. You also have Chirrut Imwe, which is really cool. I love that box. I love this pose too with his crossbow. And they gave him the cloth cloak as well. Then we also have our Cassian Andor here, which who is excited for the Andor show? That's definitely going to be really cool. Um, so there's that. You also have your K2SO here, which we're going to get Alan Tudyk coming back as K2SO for the Cassian Andor show, which is just going to be fantastic. Alan Tudyk is one of the best actors in Rogue One. You also have your Jyn Erso here. I mean, just look at that beautiful box with the Death Star laser going through the Citadel Tower on Scarif. Just beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. So, and here's the last one here. We've got Bodhi Rook, our favorite Imperial defector, turned shuttle pilot, and actually the unsung hero of that movie, because without Bodhi Rook, you don't get the Rebel transmission. Anyone find in the wild? So these aren't actually out yet. Um, the Rogue One ones will ship in November. And let me see here about. Yeah, so. And the Black Series Power of the Force vintage card backs will also be available in November as well. Trapper Wolf is going to be available, I believe, in October. You can order him through through HasbroPulse.com. As soon as he comes up for order as the HasCon exclusive, pick him up. Like, absolutely pick him up, because then you get a Dave Filoni action figure. Let's see here. Oh, we also have the Archive series Obi-Wan, who actually has the cloth tabards as well. And that's a beautiful, and we've got the Lucasfilm 50 there. All of these figures are just fantastic. You're also getting Darth Revan with his cloth robe here that has a bunch of holes in it, which is pretty cool. So, yeah, that is that, my friends. So let's go back here. So that's going to be it. Copy, pulled an early trigger. Yeah, no, it's fine. Now, granted, some stores may get these before the November release date as well. So constantly, check your Targets, check your Walmarts. Uh, Also check Walgreens. Walgreens is fantastic when it comes for Star Wars toys because sometimes they end up getting exclusive figures as well. Now, I talked about the vintage collection a while ago, especially with Merrick, Antok Merrick, the blue leader from Rogue One. He's getting a Black Series figure as well as a vintage collection figure. And his vintage collection figure is actually going to be part of a Target exclusive that comes with his X-Wing. Or you buy the X-Wing and it comes with his figure. It's, vice versa. But check that out because that's going to be hitting Target in November as well. They might pull the trigger earlier. Hasbro has surprised us before in the past with releasing some stuff early. So you just got to keep checking your stores. Now, granted, because of everything going on with COVID, some stores haven't stocked as much when it comes to Star Wars stuff. I know we've gone to Target and we've only found like Grief Karga and like Quill from The Mandalorian. So, but that could be our area as well. Like I said, I got lucky with the Black Series figures that I got, the Bad Batch Black Series figures that I got when I went to Disney. So just check those places because you never know what you're going to find. Also, thrift stores are great for Star Wars figures as well. It may not be Black Series, but you can find some vintage stuff, and that's pretty cool. Also, check your comic book stores. Comic book stores order a lot from Hasbro as well. I know our comic book store, Collector's Corner here in Baltimore, they have a lot of Black Series stuff, so check that out. There's tons of places to find these figures. So, like I said, I just wanted to go over those few things, and before we end tonight. I know it's kind of a short show, but we're going to be back next week. Dana and I are going to be here. Dana was out of town, that's why she couldn't be here, and that's fine. She was out of town. She was visiting some family, so we're going to have her back next week, and we're going to be back with a brand new live show. We're going to be talking about episode 13 of The Bad Batch. I had to think there for a second how many episodes we've had. So we have that. And as always, please, please, please join us every single week for the live show. I hope that you all have a wonderful week. May the force be with you, and we